Hi, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be doing DIY marquee letters. The supplies needed were poster boards. I used about 11 poster boards from the Dollar Tree, glue stick with glue gun. You'll need a ruler. You'll also need puck lights and a razor blade or box cutter. So as you can see, I'm using the full length of the poster board. So every poster board is essentially a letter, and then you'll need some additional boards towards the end and in the middle of the project, the next step, and I'll show you how. I'll explain how. But in this one, we're making all of the letters 4 inches wide. So they're the full length of the board, and then the width on each letter is 4 inches wide. So as you can see, I measured it with the ruler, traced them, and cut them down. In this step, I'm scribbling so I can keep track of the portions that I want to keep and the portions that I want to get rid of. I'm doing this on the back side, so I'm actually working with the back side so that this does not show through on the front. I've seen some videos where people use cardboard. I preferred not to use the cardboard because one step that they needed in the cardboard was to paint. Since I used the poster boards, everything is white and there's no need to do any painting, as you'll see later. So I'm narrowing down, cutting up the last of the letters, and nearly finished with this portion of the process. Okay? In some cases, since I'm doing Marry Me, with the M, since there's an M in Marry and an M in Me, and then 2 R's in the letter Marry, there was only a need to cut one and then just trace for the other so the letters would be perfectly the same size. So I'm nearly finished getting the last of the letters done, cutting them all out, so you'll see the results of all of the letters. And here we have it, all of the letters cut out, but then here they're just one-dimensional. Now the next step, in step 2, I cut all of the scraps that were left over. See all of the leftover scraps on the floor? I cut them all down into 3-inch strips. The 3-inch strips will be needed to make the 3-dimensional effect on all of the letters. In step 3, we take those strips and the glue gun and begin gluing to get the sides built up for 3-dimensional. Those are the scraps in the box there. The ones with the point, you'll see later that those are reusable, as you can glue gun those to each other. And that's the 3 inches, as you just see me measure. Okay, I started by building up the M. You can see a couple of the sides are done. Here's my glue gun. I've been using the same glue gun probably for about 20 years. Those are the razor blades. There's a ruler. And let's go ahead and get this thing finished so we can finish building up this letter M. So like I said, 3 portions are already done. Now we want to go ahead and look at the next size, kind of measure it up, take a look at the scraps, see what's available and what will fit. So I measure it out. There's a piece of poster board at the top for the top of the letter M. Measure it out, take the pencil. I forgot to put that as a supply, but a pencil is needed. And kind of box the letter in. Now, initially what I did was use all of the scraps that were remaining. And then after I went through using the scraps, because the scraps can easily be used on the top portion and the bottom. The longer sides, you'll probably need fuller pieces, but those fit perfectly, as you can see me using right now. And about to glue it on the top portion of this letter M. So let's see, there it goes. And be careful when using the glue gun, as I did find myself getting burnt a couple times. Okay. You can see there are markings. As you can see, there's the scribbles that I put on, which is the back side. Make sure you keep track of the front and the back, because you want the side with the neater appearance to be your front. And now we're trying to find a piece that will fit. And see down this side, there's one of the scraps that I said that was cut on an angle. So I take another scrap that's cut on an angle, fit those together. Once I determine that those are a fit for each other, I get the glue gun, glue down the inside angle of the scrap, and then we'll place the other scrap that kind of fits right in, so to give me straight edges along the top and the bottom together. See? Just like this. Fits perfectly. Yeah, be careful with the glue. Like I said, it does get kind of hot. So now that that's a perfect fit, let it dry a little bit. Then I get the glue gun. There we go, fits nice. Okay, now we put the pieces on the bottom, and then you see, after putting those 3-inch pieces on the bottom, it allows the letter to stand up and stand in place. Now the only thing left to do is do the inside of that letter M. See, now these pieces are a little longer than what they need to be. I'm going to work on the inside, and then we're going to trim away the bottom portions that are not necessary, that are extending beyond the letter. Okay, so then we're back to just trying to locate pieces that would fit perfectly inside the letter to fill in the inside portion. Okay, had to get the pencil. All right, so now we measure it, cut it, stand it up. It's a perfect fit. Now we go back. I went back in and cut an angle in that letter so that it would fit in that inside piece rather, so that it would fit inside perfectly. And now I'm going to make another one the same exact size, since I know the letter is proportional on both sides, so that we'd have one for the left and for the right side of the letter M. Isn't it coming together nicely? Such an easy project. So now we glue down the pieces on the inside that are going to fit on the inside, along the top and the bottom, well, the side and the bottom, so they would fit in place and be perfect on the bottom of the feet for the letter. Okay, and now we repeat the same process for the opposite side. Excuse me. With the other piece of foam that we measured. Got a little turned around right there, but no big deal. Got it all worked out. Okay, so now we just have left those two portions that go down in the lower section of the M in the middle. Coming together nice. I must say I was rather proud of myself. Okay, so now let's do the inside. See how I'm using those scraps? No waste here. Let's go through the box, find the perfect size pieces. Once we get two that work out for us, then we just go ahead and cut it out. After we make sure it fits, then you go and you hold the razor blade on an angle under the ruler. See, I'm holding it on an angle so that you can get the shape, get it angled so it kind of wedges up into the letter. Okay, so after we cut two that are the same size, you just go ahead, make sure it fits, then glue gun it. Run a bead of glue down the entire side, and then slide it right into place. Look at that. Look at that fit. Wow. You go across the top, put a bead, and then stroke it with a piece of the excess excess foam to make sure that it doesn't have a beaded look and keep it nice and neat in appearance. Okay, so we put that last piece in, and guess what? We are nearly finished creating the letter M. And I think it looks good. Okay, there we go. Nice. Nice. One down. 6 more to go. So now we're on to the letter A. Nearly finished. So you can see I got a head start and came back to show. That last piece down the side. Look at that. Look at that. Now, since we're using scraps, don't forget, get them all in where you fit them in. So we got a little piece of scrap down on the bottom. We mark off the amount that we need. Trim it down to size. Glue it together and slide it in place. You have to remember, even for patching it together, people won't be able to see it because it's going to be at a distance that people will look at it, and then they're going to have lights on the inside. So I tried my best to keep it as perfect as possible, but wasn't able to. Now on this one, you'll notice the letter did not stand perfectly on the A. So what I came back and did was glue like a little foot on it to make it balance out. Now this was a little different. This is a letter R. The R is the only one that had the curve. So I took a small mason jar out the closet, rolled it on the portions that need to roll to fit up in the corner, because if you just start bending it, the board cracks, and it cracks really easily. So I found that the best way for me to do it was just go ahead and roll. See, just watch. It needs the portions that need to roll to get the curve. I rolled them inside the around the mason jar, the small mason jar, or you can use a glass if you have one. But just roll the portion that needs to be rolled, and then see how nice it looks, and it looks more uniform. Then you put it in place, trim it down to size, of course, as with the others. Then put it in place, and after you get the right fit, just glue it in, just like the others. You're gonna have to do the same thing with the outer portion of that letter R to get the effect and get the letter, the 3-inch sides to roll around perfectly. Okay, so I'm molding the letter in place, molding the 3-inch in place so that it sits properly on the inside. So now one piece is done, so we go ahead and we put the other to make sure it's a fit, trim it as necessary, and then go ahead and glue that one in place as well on that 3-inch strip. See, it's a nice fit. Then we'll glue that portion together that I'm holding right there. Okay, so now that that's all finished and the additional pieces in on the inside, now we get the glass again and we start rolling for the outer portion of the letter R. Sorry that it's off camera, but as you can see on the bottom portion of it, it's a nice fit. We rolled the top. We didn't roll the whole thing. We just rolled the bottom portion and then the top so that they curve right into place. Okay? Sometimes you got to work with it a little more to get the shape right, and that's what I'm doing right here. But have no fear. It will be a perfect fit when it's all done. Now let's get it glued down. We run a bead of glue along the bottom portion of it. It's only needed on the bottom because the sides aren't in place yet. So we run it right down the bottom. And now it's time to just go ahead and mold it in place. So you have to play with it. And then once you get it squeeze in place and hold down all the curves, Give it enough time so that the glue can dry and you get a nice seal so that there's not many gaps or lights that come through. If you notice that there are, then you do as I'm doing right here. Glue it and then just press and hold it some more so you can close in any holes that would appear. Okay, so now let's wrap it up and finish getting this letter R done so we can move on to the rest of the letters. So I'll speed through that and then come back and show you the results in a second. Okay, and here we have it. All the letters are done, all in place. Looking good for now. It says marry me, as you can see and clearly read. So that's where we are now. Here's a close-up of some of the work so you can see. Look how nice that R turned out. Now you can see close up that it's patches, but look, as I step away, you can't see or be able to tell that some of it's been patchworked together. Okay, I think it looks pretty good from my eye and from back here. It says lights on, lights off. The letters are looking darn good. Alrighty, so let's finish the process. Now we need to add lights. So from the Dollar Tree, purchase these push lights. I couldn't find them cheaper anyplace else. If you do, please put it in the comments, but I could not find them cheaper anyplace else. I even tried Amazon. Now that face down is my cell phone. So I use my cell phone to space out the lights. I went up the sides of all of them using 4. I tried my best to get them evenly spaced by sticking the cell phone between every light so that they'd all measure the same distance. And it worked out really well. Okay, as you can see, look at that. Perfect. So perfect fit. And now this is it, complete with all the lights in place. That's it with the lights off. I'm kind of impressed. Total, there were 66 lights used. Okay, 66 total lights in there. And now this is it with the lights turned, the house lights off and the lights pushed on. Okay, I think it turned out nice. It's really bright. It's a nice look. And we're going to go out and do a photo shoot for my daughter who just got engaged on Christmas Day on Sunday. There you have it. Be sure to like and subscribe.